astringent taste, would it be like that?
It'd be different, yeah. We would have that astringent taste, but it'd be kind of more like mouthfeel, kind of, and that, yeah. Umami would be the opposite of astringent, though. It'd be more oily and heavy, and yeah.
So the cordyceps, that would be umami.
Cordyceps has some umami-like flavor, right? So a lot of like wild ginseng is so intense, the flavor too, it's like overpowering. When we tried the wild ginseng, that almost has an umami-like, oily, heavy flavor. Yeah. So we use the word umami not appropriately. We're trying to, there's just other cultural words for it, but we all know umami, right? You know, chefs will say umami is simply when you eat something, you say, ooh, my mommy. Like it's so good, it just makes you think of like your childhood and ratatouille. It's ratatouille, right? The chef eats the ratatouille and has a flashback of his childhood, right? That's umami. Okay. All right. Should we re-record and jump in the skull cap? We're going? We're jiving. Okay. We're going to do one of the most common and important herbs to know, skullcap. Multiple spellings. Sometimes we have a C, sometimes we have a K. I don't get too worked up about it. Well, some people might really like to argue about it. The Latin is Scutellaria. Scutellaria laterifolia. Later Laura. Sorry. Okay, I'll pass this around. No card for that? We should have a card for it somewhere. Huh, okay. Doesn't have a lot of other common names. So why when we read a lot of books or go on WebMD, books written by medical people, will this herb be flagged as like, ooh, potentially dangerous, even though it's absolutely not. I believe it was in the 1980s or early 90s. Ironically, an herb company in Iowa who sold herbs, kind of like a small mountain rose company, uh, did not have a botanist working for them. And somebody sold them skullcap, but it was the toxic false germander. So a couple people got kind of poisoned and really sick from it. And it was really just a company that just didn't have good quality standards that had the wrong herb. So the herb itself is very safe and really not easy to misidentify with false germander. So how they did that is pretty sad. So um very safe plant. We don't have to worry about it. It has a super high safety rating. Does not have a toxic dose. Very, very safe. What's good about skullcap is it's kind of always the answer when we're dealing with the nervous system. So the energy is cool on the verge of cold. The direction is clearly downward. And by downward here, we mean grounding, calming, relaxing. The tissue state that it treats, this is probably the archetypal remedy for tension tissue state. It's the archetypal remedy to balance the nervous system. It is a major, major, major nervine, one that everybody should know deeply. It's also very safe. It doesn't necessarily interact with a lot of medications unless you did like some kind of a really crazy overdose of it. But we can safely give it with blood pressure medicines, anti-anxiety medications, sleeping pills. Just doesn't have a lot of like true drug interactions, making it very safe. Um, on very sensitive patients who are very reactive, who are on a lot of medications, we might not combine this with anxiety meds or sleeping pills, but for most people that don't have like an extremely reactive system, it's always going to be a safe bet. Safe for children, safe for elderly, safe for infants. Just a very, very safe plant. As you can tell, it also tastes fairly mild. This is what a nervine tastes like. Most nervines will have this almost like it wants to go bitter, but it's not really bitter, and a little earthy, but it has a distinctive smell and taste that hard to describe, but I would just call this the nervine taste. Most nervines have this very similar flavor. It's just going to intensify the more intense they get. Okay. That's really tasty. I think it's pleasant. Okay. So this works good pretty much any way you take it. Tea, capsule, glycerite for children, tincture, it all works great, but the tincture of the fresh plant is clearly the strongest way to take it. But they all work good if you're trying to save money for somebody by having them drink a tea or take a capsule. Okay. So this herb has pretty much any effect on the nervous system we want. What do we think? What is this going to be good for? It's got some really cool uses. What's that? So we are going to use this for any disease of the nerves where they're breaking down or inflamed or attacked, like serious things like MS, ALS, the neurological immune diseases where the immune system is attacking the brain and nerves. It's very helpful for. We're going to use this anytime a patient has this tick, tremor, anywhere, whether the legs go zip, restless leg syndrome, Parkinson's, tremors, twitches, spasticity, right? Anytime you see a patient's eye go, ooh, the little eye twitchy, anytime you see the lips twitch, muscles twitch, this is it. The answer solved, right?
That include Tourette's.
It includes Tourette's also, yes.
Does it include children with cerebral palsy?
It is also good for children with cerebral palsy, also all palsies. It's also safe for children with that too. This herb is also very good for just anxiety of all kinds. The more tics, convulsions, which would include epilepsy, seizure disorders, patients who have seizures of all kinds. Anytime a neurological condition is diagnosed, this is it. I have neurological migraines. I have, nerve damage to my inner ear. I have anytime a nerve is damaged, a nerve is inflamed, a nerve is attacked. I had a virus that attacked my cranial nerve and caused this crazy symptom, which we see sometimes, right? This is it. I had a vaccine cause damage to my nerve or nerve tissue or brain. Skullcap, right? This is why Skullcap is in our vaccine formula. If you're going to take a vaccine, we have like a preventative formula we like people to do. Yeah.
So if that is also also neuropathy because it's also not.
It's also one of the best herbs for neuropathy. We combine it with St. John's wort for neuropathy. It's also good for any stress-induced condition, including things like hives that might be caused by anxiety attacks.
So would this be beneficial, like if you had a shingles outbreak?
It's very helpful for shingles triggered by stress. It's also good if people, have a history of shingles and they feel like those symptoms starting to happen, they can start taking this. Any neurological, I've used this for a lot of stuff this is very common, right? To go to the neurologist and be like, you don't have MS, but you kind of do. We're not going to say you do. We're going to kind of treat you like you do. See if you respond. This kind of happens a lot in specialties, or like we know you have a neurological problem. We're just not sure quite what it is. So this is the herb when it's like mysterious and unknown. Yeah.
Would that work also as a foot bath?
It's a great foot bath. It's a great bath also. Also very good for anxiety and mania swings, making it also really good for drug withdrawal, including going off of anxiety drugs, illegal drugs, any kind of addiction, alcohol, smoking, anything. This is the herb. I've used it for meth withdrawal, everything.
For brain disorders,
So,
dementia, a little different than neurons.
when someone has a nerve or damage that shows up on an MRI, this herb is really important. It's helpful for the kind of slowing the progression of dementia and Alzheimer's, but there's probably, better herbs that might be more dynamic, but part of a program that's really helpful. It's called neuroprotective. This is also the herb where someone had surgery, someone had a car accident, somebody got shot, cut open, they cut a nerve, they lacerated a nerve, and all those nerves have to grow back, and we want to speed up that process. I use this a lot when patients they did a bladder sling and they wrapped the nerve up or nicked it or injured it, and now they have all these bladder control issues because of the nerve. So anytime a nerve is damaged or hurt, this is really helpful. Okay. What's that? Sciatica, it's helpful for with St. John's wort. For the nerve part of it. This is also good for damaged spinal nerves, like you have a bulging disc that's causing severe back pain, numbness down your hands or feet, right? So we have spinal nerve damage. You have lack of cushioning, no matter what it is that's stressing your spinal nerves out.
Carpal tunnel syndrome.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, also pretty helpful for too.
Is this one that you take off of for the disc that is?
What's that?
Well, the bulk disc, and is that internal, and then you use one off?
Yeah, so we would use this internally on the disc, and then you can also put it on the back if it's really bad. St. John's wort, the same, topically and internally, is really good.
Tincture form or like
Either one.
before you go to surgery?
We'd use this for surgery recovery. What do you think? What do you think this does after surgery, though? It's specific.
Repair the nerves.
Helps the nerve seal.
It helps after most people, after they have all the anesthetics and sedating drugs, a lot of people, their nervous systems just messed up for months after surgery, even dental surgery and things sometimes, right? When people get their wisdom teeth out and that. This is what we do after surgery to help somebody's nervous system just rebalance. So if you're a person who already has a lot of nerve problems, anxiety, nerve pain, and you're worried about how you're going to feel after anesthetics and surgery, this is one of your herbs. For that, we combine it with peppermint. Peppermint and skullcap is the great post-surgery, get your nervous system back online. Okay. Raynaud syndrome, right? Poor blood flow. It works for Raynaud's because it releases tension and constriction, which helps the blood to flow. And a lot of Raynaud's is triggered, when you get more stressed, you get more cold hands and feet. So it helps the stress response of Raynaud's.
Yeah, diabetes as well.
It's also good for diabetic neuropathy and all types of neuropathy. It's very helpful for both topically and internally. It's also antispasmodic, so we're going to use it for muscle spasms, muscle tension, muscle stiffness. People also that have, we talked about this kind of last week, ataxia, you have balance issues, you have muscle coordination issues. Nobody knows why. This can happen to people, right? You lack muscle coordination and no one kind of knows what's going on, right? This is just a great herb to kind of rush into.
So that could be because the nerve is communicating better with the muscles?
Yeah. It does kind of help the nervous system and the muscular system and the brain communicate. This is why this is our herb for neurological ophthalmic disorder. So when you have eye neurological problem, right? You read and you get vertigo. You look this way and you get vertigo. You move your neck, you get vertigo, or just all of these like eye problems with your eye. You have optic nerve damage from maybe a drug, a virus, a diabetes. If your optic nerve is dying, this is what we would use to try to help it. Okay, so we also said, yeah, if a virus damages nerves, which it can sometimes do, rarely, this is what we would do.
So would you like use this like a Guillain-Barré?
We use this for Guillain-Barré. It's the #1 herb for that.
It's a viral infection, or it's a neurological thing that can happen after a viral infection.
Yeah. So I just had a patient recently. I've never seen this before, who had what they call kind of like Guillain-Barré. It was 3rd and 6th nerve palsy that a virus attacked her optic nerve and her nerves of her neck and damaged them. And she went blind basically from a virus and couldn't walk and couldn't see. And I mean, the medical treatment is just steroids with the hope that it gets better and might not. She had like complete recovery very fast. It was pretty cool. Am I miraculous? No, this is just basic herb of 101. You got nerve damage to the eye, just thinking about this was not that insightful. It was just really basic. So, okay.
Did you combine it with the,
I just gave it to her. She took steroids for a while and then she kind of had like a bad reaction to the steroids. This is good anytime stress triggers something. Oh, I have this weird symptom, right? I get nauseous every time I get stressed. I get just anything that is triggered by stress. This is helpful. Anything aggravated by stress. This is a viral infection that triggers the nerves. Yeah. So like post-COVID, we have neurological post-COVID, right? Where people get nerve damage, MS-like symptoms, weak hands, weak grip, all these things.
Well, you get like herpes outbreaks.
Herpes outbreaks, this is good for the nerve damage part of it. Yeah. Also to help, like if people have recurrent herpes, to do this when they feel like they're getting really stressed to try to prevent the outbreak. This is also one of the all-time great TMJ jaw pain, neck pain remedies. Also great for like after a lot of dental surgery, a lot of dental anesthetics and Novocaine and wisdom teeth out. This just really helps all the nerves of the whole jaw area just kind of realign. It's pretty amazing. You can take this long term very safely. The old name for this is Mad Dog Skullcap. What does that mean? What does that term mean? It's an old term for a disease. It's the old term for rabies. This is what used to be used to treat rabies when people, because you lock up when you get rabies, everything seizes up. All your muscles stop working and you turn to stone. So in people that have been bit and are on antibiotics, this is like a good rabies preventative. Like if you got bit by a dog that can't be tested or something. I'm sure this is good for animals too. I don't know for sure, but I don't know. Um, Also good, obviously, for things like fear, worry, insomnia, all of it. This herb pretty much stays pretty much in the line of the nerves. Like this whole theme of it follows the nerves.
You know, to help prevent nightmares.
It is okay for helping sleep and fears and worries and can be helpful for nightmares. St. John's wort's probably better when you combine the two. Frankincense too. So yeah, neck tension, neck pain, head trauma from the nerve damage from head trauma, vaccine damage when a vaccine attacks the brain or nerve tissue specifically, or some other drug, just unknown side effect of a drug.
It's so interesting because for a while, I was taking a blend of Skullcap, hops, and valerian. And like all these issues, I stopped taking it and like having some of these things come back. I'm like, oh, I forgot that I was doing that.
Yeah, good reminder how herbs are helpful. That then we kind of quit taking them. Yeah. Yeah.
Sleep aid, but I find it like puts me in a deeper state of sleep.
Mhm.
So the dreams can almost be more intense sometimes.
Mhm.
It's just
It could help. Some people might have more lucid dreaming from it because they will get to a deeper sleep. Just, yeah, if you're stressed and you're going to be pushing it to the mat, it's such a great herb. I've never seen anybody react negatively to, where other nerve herbs either might be too strong to use with drugs or might not be as helpful or might interact with other things or it's always a safe bet. That's what's so nice about this plant. It's also easy to grow in your yard too.
when I was drinking it, I started feeling nauseous. So
Could be just your nervous system unwinding or tension in the neck or something. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people, when they first drink this, they can almost feel a little woozy from like the tension releasing. This is also one of the herbs we use when someone has inner ear problems, like damage to nerves in the inner ear, which could be things like vertigo, dizziness. Tinnitus, it's helpful for, but it doesn't always work by itself. But helpful to use with tinnitus. Okay. So yeah, this is just your classic we call it nervine, right? That's the category. We don't traditionally say muscle relaxing. Traditionally we say antispasmodic. Right? Anytime you're just tense, this is it. This is your remedy. I've used it with so many bizarre, unusual, unmedically diagnosable, just weird stress or nerve triggered things that it's just pretty fascinating. It also works great as a tea. One of the best, funnest things you can do is massage this in your spine from like your tailbone all the way to the base of your neck. It's
In tea form?
any way you can. Tincture or tea, oil. Yeah, you could do an oil. Um, Combine it with black cohosh to make it even, yeah, more powerful on your spine. It's just one of the great, we call it an unwinding remedy. You just need to let up. Remember, nervines are basically, think of them as biofeedback for your constitution. So every time you take a nervine, the plant is saying, hey, this is what it feels like to be relaxed. It's starting to regulate your nervous system. It's like the longer you take nervines, it just helps to actually retrain your nervous system like biofeedback. So, usually with nervines, my preference is for people to try to do a smaller dose more consistently instead of just like one or two big doses a day, like doing, 30 to 60 drops of a tincture 4 times a day, maybe even 5 times a day. Do a smaller dose, just kind of more constantly. So like every couple hours, you're like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what this feels like to feel a little relaxed. That's a really good way to take something like this. But the capsules work good. They're very cheap. The tea works great. It's very cheap. The foot bath from the tea and baths from the tea works great. Just, yeah, really great herb.
And
So
it's not super sedative, right?
it's pretty calming, but it's not sedative like a prescription drug. Yeah, it's not going to knock you out.
Like, how would you compare it? Passion flower.
So passion, when we do nervines, we'll do the 1 to 10 scale too, like with adaptogens. Yeah. But it's the best all around. It's kind of like the Eleuthero of the adaptogen world. It's like the strongest starting place that's always pretty like safe. Just like, you give somebody the Eleuthero, we said was like the strongest herb that doesn't like make people feel stimulated yet. So yeah, that's just a great, yeah, great tincture, great tincture. So questions on it? Safe for children as a glyceride or tea. A lot of common teas like Sleepy Time and Nighty Night all have it in there, like a lot of traditional medicinals. Nerve calming ones have it. So you can grow this very easily. Safe for nursing. Um, we don't do much anything during pregnancy. So, I mean, I wouldn't probably do it during pregnancy to be safe, but just an amazing herb. Okay. Questions on skullcap. We haven't covered nervines as a category yet. That'll be soon. It's one of the 5 foundational categories, right? Okay. We're good. Covered it pretty good. Like it. Pleasant tasting, right? Not bad. Yeah, it is a little bitter, so I mean it can, kind of relaxes the nerves of the stomach a little bit. So
Is it by nature moistening?
it's not super drying. It's just kind of neutral overall, which makes it pretty nice. Yeah. It's not drying, it's not moisturizing, but it's neither. Safe for both. Yeah. Trying to think of some of the crazy stuff I did with it over the years. I mean, I've used it on like old uh, black widow bites and rattlesnake bites where people had nerve damage from years ago, or like tick bite. I mean, it's just anytime a nerve gets damaged, even if it's forever ago, it's a great herb to do topically and internally. Yeah.
This is different than Chinese skullcap, correct?
Yes, that's a good point. So we have Chinese skullcap, which most companies will usually call it Chinese skullcap. Or what's called bical skullcap. But you gotta watch it because some companies that might not know might confuse them. So these are completely different, even though they're in the same genus. This is kind of more similar to golden seal, Chinese skullcap. It's like antibacterial and antiviral and antifungal and very strong for killing stuff in that, where this is quite a bit different than our American skullcap. Okay. A lot of other countries have variations of skullcap. Most all of them are kind of nervine, the related species. The Chinese one's just a little different. So, okay. Skullcap does not help with joint pain, but because it is so relaxing to tension and muscle constriction, you know, when people have severe arthritis with severe pain, you just hold yourself, you know, tight. It can sometimes provide relief from joint pain indirectly in people that have severe joint pain. But like normally it wouldn't be that great for arthritis.
But good for sciatica.
Very good for the sciatic nerve. Yeah. So usually we combine it with St. John's wort for sciatia. The other, maybe other immune use for this would have been used in older times before hospitals when somebody had something like severe fever that got out of hand and was very dangerous, or encephalitis where the brain was swelling from an infection and people were getting all these nerve symptoms like freezing up and, you know, the nerves and muscles are locking up. Would have been used to try to help save the person. And modern times, people are going to be in a hospital for that stuff. So, but this is a great post-encephalitis remedy. Ever been hospitalized for encephalitis? It's a pretty rough road back to feeling good. We would use the American skullcap.